Season, Donnie right out here, Tom Vecchio, and also special guest Jeff Nadu, the big man on campus. Jeff, I'll start with you first. How we feeling, brother? Week 1 feels good to do some content, and away we go, man.
Yeah, Sage's stat, boys. NFL Week 1 is here. A lot of games, a lot of props, a lot of things going on. So, yeah, we had a nice start to the week, the other night, on Friday as well. So let's get it going.
Get it going, Tom Vecchio. How we feeling, man? We're finally here, starting line. Look, we had Thursday, we had Friday, but now the official kickoff of the NFL season. Everybody's going to be underway today. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Thursday night, I was on the over. We didn't get there. I'm going to say that's solely based on the weather. We had some great action in the first half, but some good stuff on Friday. We have a full slate today. We got a ton to get to. We got 30 minutes. Let's just jump right in.
Let's jump right into it, too, because we got a game at 4:25 you got to pay attention to. Maybe besides the NFC, when it's all said and done, it's Detroit and it's Green Bay. Jared Goff versus Mr. Love out there. And by the way, not really too worried about that banged-up hand that he has on the non-throwing hand. 475, 476 on the rotation. A favorite over the summer, Tom, I'll start with you. -1.5. It swung now to Green Bay as a -1.5. And I'll get to Jeff in a second. Heavy ticket count on those lines. Tom, what are we thinking?
There's a lot to break down in this game. Do we trust Love with the hand? Do we trust the Lions with losing Ben Johnson going to Chicago? How much are we valuing Micah Parsons going to the Packers? We know that Micah Parsons is not going to be playing on 100% of the snaps. We got that report. To me, I would be willing to buy in on the Lions a little bit more than consensus, just because at the end of the day, the offense is exactly the same. Yes, they lost a couple pieces on the offensive line, but it's still St. Brown. They just gave Williams an extension last night. Laporta, Gibbs, and Montgomery in the backfield. Like, at a certain point, they just have to do things rationally, and they can move the ball up and down the field. The wide receiver room for the Green Bay Packers is all over the place for me, so I see this as a scoring game that we're going to get some points. Josh Jacobs is still awesome. I don't mind taking the points in a close game like this between division rivals. If it was the Packers on the road, I may be making the same argument.
I like it, man. By the way, I do like the Green Bay Packers in this game. And, Jeff, I know we like to take a look at those false flags here. I got 84% of the tickets lining up on Detroit with minimum movement, Jeff. What's the deal, man?
Yeah, that's what will ultimately keep me off of this game. Look, I don't know that, we hear about Ben Johnson, but I hate to tell you, it didn't look like it affected the Eagles very much, losing their offensive coordinator. I mean, they moved right to the next guy, and the offense moved. Throw in the fact that, we could talk about Micah Parsons all we want, but the Dallas Cowboys were dreadful on defense last year. So, I mean, we can talk all we want about that. Look, he's a great player, but as Tom pointed out, I mean, he's not going to play 100% of snaps. He's still kind of figuring out that defense.
Yep.
Look, I don't love Jordan Love. I know a lot of people do. I don't like their receiver room either. There's just too many question marks. Is it a marquee game? Absolutely. These games are generally close. Lions have won, I think, 4 of the last 5 in this series. Donnie, I'm going to do what I don't normally do.
Ooh.
I'm actually going to lean Lions, even though the whole world.
Wow. Yeah, week 1's kind of crazy at this point right now, and you're right about it. I think all the love, pun intended there, is coming in on Green Bay because they get Micah Parsons, you get that surge by the end of the week. But I'm interested to see how they come back, and that's a huge game in the NFC there, because the fact of the matter is, for the division, but even more so, you get a leg up on the rest of the NFC with a victory there. We'll certainly still see if that makes some sense. 47.5 is the total in this game. Usually I lean more towards overs early in the season because the better weather conditions and everybody is healthy, but in divisional battle it makes it tough. Jeff, I'll just hit this real quick. Do you go over any props? Do you have any prop action on Detroit or Green Bay? Do you dip into that stuff, or more just the size of the total?
No, I'm pretty old school. I just bet sides totals, team totals, that sort of thing. Occasionally I'll do like a touchdown score. I have one for another game, but no, not particularly. I think the total is probably right around where it is. You made a good point about divisional matchups. You kind of take some of the things away. But again, this is September. This is not Green Bay in December or January. So you have plenty of playmakers all over the field, 2 good quarterbacks. I would assume the game is first to 24, first to 30 wins. Yeah. Again, I think Detroit probably finds a way to win this game, but it is hard to get involved with all the all the other hoopla.
Tom, we've talked about it before, too. Like, Ben Johnson's not going to be there at this point, but it seems easy, right? Like, if you want prop bets, you go to Detroit, but they have 2 really good running backs, a ton of wide receivers, and a great tight end. It's like they can drop 28 points, and you don't even hit a prop bet in this game, Tom.
Yeah, that's part of the problem at times, is when there's, like, so many good players. It's like, it's not like one player's going for 100 yards and everyone goes for 20. It's like, okay, 60 here, 50 here, 40 here. It's like, wow, that's a really well-rounded offense. One deep shot to Williams, the underneath stuff to Laporta and St. Brown, and then I think Gibbs is significantly better than Montgomery, especially at this point. So I would play a Gibbs, maybe rushing plus receiving. But there's a chance that he goes over that, but he doesn't score a touchdown because there's 3 other players adding 2 field goals, and then you're in the mid-20s at that point.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But a great game there. I'm going to lean Green Bay in that game at this point. Detroit Green Bay is a 425 game. The other big game tonight is going to be in prime time. And I think we've been talking about this ad nauseum for weeks and weeks and weeks. Jeff, I'll start with you. It's Baltimore, it's Buffalo. 8:20 kickoff tonight. Last time we saw these two in the playoffs, crushing defeat for the Baltimore Ravens, who just made too many mistakes, particularly in that fourth quarter. But Jeff, they're our favorite today. -1.5 and a total of 50.5 tonight.
Yeah, I've kind of talked all season about, look, maybe I'm crazy because we know that the Baltimore Ravens never win when it matters most with Lamar Jackson, but I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I look at this defense. I mean, it is so star-studded, and you have so much talent. Everybody's healthy all of a sudden. We know they still can run the ball super effectively. Again, these are 2 games, total coin flips, but you notice the Ravens are now a favorite. It has moved a little bit. My concern always with this group is up front. It seems like all of a sudden the last couple of years, the offensive line's been all over the place. Again, do they have enough in the receiver room there? But again, I'll trust the run game to go on the road and go to Buffalo, which again, if I want to go to Buffalo, I want to go in September and October. I don't want to go later in the year. Just give me Buffalo in a coin flip game, or Baltimore in a coin flip game to run the ball more effectively. Again, I hate to say it. I don't have much on these 2 games, but I am just going to go with the team that I trust more. I like on defense. Give me Baltimore.
So hard week number 1, especially, Tom, when you get these 2 good teams. But I do like the Baltimore Ravens in this game. And I think sometimes you have to take some things out of the equation, Tom, because this year is individual as opposed to the past years. And Baltimore has burned me. But if you just look, and Jeff and I are Eagles fans here. Eagles have a really good roster. Baltimore has the best roster in the NFL from top to bottom. And I agree with Jeff there. What do you think about this game, Tom?
I really think the same thing. Like, just what do we say, Donnie? Like, you have to win 2 or 3 phases to give yourself a shot to win. Yeah. Part of my concern with Buffalo coming in is, Keon Coleman was good last year. I don't know how much of a step forward he's going to take. Khalil Shakir missed a ton of training camp with the ankle injury. It's great to give James Cook an extension in the offseason, but like their offense, I think, is good. And like Josh Allen can elevate the players around him. But I think the stars that we could actually trust would be, okay, Allen, but then Lamar's right there. It's like I would actually trust Henry before I trust Cook. I could trust Zay Flowers at times before either Keon Coleman or Khalil Shakir. And time again, I'll just take the Ravens at a pretty decent price on the money line at -118, or you want to go to -1.5, whatever it might be. I think that's just a side to be on at this point.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills in this one. Because it's like plus 200 for a Lamar Jackson touchdown this game. I don't know why that's priced so high, but usually the odds makers are pretty smart with that. You take a look, obviously, at Derrick Henry's a heavy favorite to score. Yeah. I just think to myself, when I look at both of these teams lined up side by side, week number 1, we're healthy. I'm going Baltimore Ravens. And again, it might be a slightly public side at that point here, but I just think they're the better team to start it off. And once again, as we talked about that 425 game, how long is this going to go in the standings? Like, Baltimore and Buffalo aren't in the same division, but Jeff, you take a look at the winner of this football game, gets that, little check mark next to their name saying, hey, if we're tied at the end of the season, I'm at home, you're not.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes in these kind of games, I mean, like Tom just kind of mentioned, I mean, you just kind of look at what you have and say, okay, who's just better? I mean,
correct.
It's a flip of a coin at quarterback. Baltimore is significantly better on defense. I mean, this is a very average Bills defense. They didn't get to the quarterback. They were kind of middle of the road, just overall, gave up yards. I've just, again, thrown the fact that this home field advantage is not as strong in September as it is in December. It's just my opinion. Baltimore, again, has the better offense to me, the better run game. Yeah, I'm in. And you're right. The standings, it will go a long way. This is a possible, AFC title game type of game. So, yeah, big game. But I think Baltimore gets the job done here.
Let's speed it through here. 1 o'clock start, Pittsburgh and the New York Jets. Tom, I'll start with you first. Yes. Aaron Rodgers makes his return there to MetLife Stadium. It's -3, and it's been lining up that way. For me, Pittsburgh is the better team, but it's still week number 1. And if I just think Aaron Rodgers is going to pick up the football and just be like, hey, it's Aaron Rodgers 2012, that's not going to happen today. But I just don't – I look at the Jets' offense, Tom, and I say, how do they put up a lot of points on the Pittsburgh Steelers? When I mean a lot, is like, can they get to 17.5 points and get to the over to be competitive? I'm just leaning on the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game just because I think from top to bottom, like Baltimore, they're just a better team than the Jets.
They are some weather issues in this game, although the rain should be subsiding when it gets there. As I talked about to you earlier in the week, I like DK Metcalf over yards. There's literally no one else on the Steelers that should be taking yards away from Calvin Austin, Pat Freiermuth. Like, these are okay players, but you went out and traded for DK. You paid him all this money, throwing the ball. And then on the other side, I like Fields under passing attempts. Getting into a shootout is not the way the Jets are going to win this game. It's going to be running the ball with either Fields, Breece Hall, or Braylon Allen. I just don't see this as this may be the worst game on the slate. So I would take the under overall if I had to pick it. I think I have the Steelers in a pick 'em pool, but it's about DK over and Fields under attempts.
Yeah, I just look at it and I say to myself, I don't like the Jets offense. If I'm just picking that low-hanging fruit, it's just going to be Justin Fields running the football. And like Garrett Wilson's in the low 50s for his wide receiver total today, Jeff. Any looks today for you, Pittsburgh and the New York Jets?
I always liked backing Justin Fields, though, when he was the Bears quarterback. Seemed like as a dog, he did quite well. How old is Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Glenn's going to test him. I'd blitz the hell out of him today. We know that his defensive things that he did in Detroit were very blitz heavy. He's going to do it here too. Look, they've got a great defense themselves, the Jets. Tom mentioned the running back. Look, I ultimately lean Jets here +3. I think the game's close. It's a low scoring game, 17-13, 20-16, something like that. I think the under is probably the best play, 38. Both these teams, I think of what both you guys said, run heavy, quarterbacks you don't totally trust. Two good defense. We know Pittsburgh's not only a great defense, but even added some talent and guys like Darius Slay. So, yeah, I think, again, this could be 17-13, 20-16, something like that. Under 38 looks like the best play here.
Yeah.
Cam Hayward, by the way. Look at that. Give it the money out there in the streets. Got a little extra $3 million last night, and ready he goes, plowing through till today. Miami and Indianapolis. Here's a good one because I look at Miami and say, I don't want any piece of this team. They could win a couple games, but the minute things start going south, that team is going to implode. They're not even favorites on the road today against the Indianapolis Colts with Daniel Jones as a starting quarterback. It's another one of those games that Jeff and I like to take a look at, Tom, and it's a crazy statistical count here for the Miami Dolphins. Close to 70% of the tickets. That line isn't moving here. Something has to give. I'll start with you first here, Tom. Miami and Indianapolis. Daniel Jones, Tua Tagovailoa.
Listen, I think Daniel Jones is terrible, and I think a lot of people are along those same lines. Like, I just don't think he's good. I think Jonathan Taylor's good. I think they have some interesting options at receiver. But, if the Dolphins can't beat the Colts with a bad quarterback, when they don't have to worry about the weather. This is not like, they're going to Green Bay on Thanksgiving last year. They have to worry about throwing the ball. It's like, if you can't beat them in a dome when everyone's fully healthy on week 1, there's no reason to ever trust the Dolphins at any point this season. So if you can't beat Daniel Jones in a dome with Tyreek and Waddle and Achane and everyone's ready to go, I'm never going to back the Dolphins at any point this year. So get it done now. I'm not betting on them, but that's like how I would approach it mentally.
Jeff, Daniel Jones at home. Colts, everybody leaving him for dead here. The Miami Dolphins on the road. Can we trust the Dolphins? Where do you go here?
Yeah, Tom said the Pittsburgh game is the worst. I think this is the worst game. This is rough. It also shows you how bad is Anthony Richardson that Daniel Jones wins a job over him. Throw in the fact that, look, if this game's close, do you really trust Daniel Jones to go down the field and get you a win? I don't. I think the Colts roster stinks outside of John Taylor, really. Defensively, there are no great shakes there. Again, I'll just go back to in a flip game. Odds makers aren't even giving you the 3 you get normally to play at home. I know that at least on one side I have Tua, Tyreek Hill, and Devin Achane. Maybe that's a slight advantage, but as Donnie pointed out, whole world believes in the Dolphins, and that's when I don't want the Dolphins. So all these games, these 4 so far are rough.
Week 1 it is, man. No doubt about it. Carolina and Jacksonville, Jeff. I'll start with you first in this game. Again, not a great game, but line moves here. 2.5 over the summer here for Jacksonville. Game day, Jeff, 4.5's out here, and a total of 45.5. Everybody focused on, Travis Hunter's going to be mainly a wide receiver, part-time defender. Are we leaving Carolina a little bit short in this game, or is this like, Liam Cohen, we're ready to go with Jacksonville?
Well, this is one of those games. I think it's one of the better bets on the board. I like the over here. You look at Bryce Young, last 6 games, right, of the season or so.
Playing football.
13 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. I thought it was really good. Throw in that you get a new target in Tet McMillan, one of the best college receivers. Neither defense was good at all. Jacksonville was dreadful defensively. So was Carolina. In fact, Carolina was the worst defense in the league last year. 13-4 to the over Carolina last year. 77% of their games went over the posted total.
Whoa.
I think this is a shootout. We know the Jags. They had Travis Hunter. That should help. Trevor Lawrence. Throw in the fact that you have Leon Cohen there now, who's a kind of a quarterback guy. Did some good things with Baker Mayfield. I like the over 45.5,
Yeah,
47.
by the way, Brian Thomas Jr., one of my favorite wide
Oh, yeah.
receivers in football. You got weapons this one, Tom. Talk to me about this game.
Yeah, I think the over would be the play. There's no reason that we should be seeing this game end 17-13. Like this, I wouldn't mind taking the points because this game could be 28-24. Like you would win right on that if you won Carolina. Like I'm not going to say I love backing Carolina, but I think that would be a very reasonable outcome where multiple touchdowns from each team. I would say a minimum of 2 or 3 per team, 2 for the Panthers, 3 for the Jags. You add in a field goal, and then we're going to be pushing towards that total. Obviously, what we get from Tet is going to be super interesting. I do like Xavier Legette under 3.5 receptions. Between getting Tet involved and then Chuba Hubbard in the backfield, I'm not sure how much we're going to be seeing Legette out there. And then we have to remember that they re-signed Hunter Renfrow after they traded away Adam Thielen. So getting Renfrow involved in some capacity would have me a little bit more interested in therefore shying away from Xavier Legette under 3.5 receptions.
Put up or shut up this year for Bryce in that offense. And Dave Canales, you got to get it going. We'll see if they can do that in week number 1. Giants and the Washington Commanders. Russell Wilson going up against Jaden Daniels. This is a lightning rod game because everybody loved Washington last year, but now it feels like the feel-good story of the year is a team that opened up at ESPN Bet with a 3.5 team total, the New York Giants. Everybody, Jeff, feels like they're riding the Giants today. What do you think?
And you know what's funny? You ask them and they just say, well, I don't know. I don't like them.
Yeah.
Like, or the expectations for why, like Washington still got Jalen Daniels. They're still really good. They can move the football. And again, you're back in Russell Wilson. You're hoping Abdul Carter can give you something. Look, I hate to tell you, and I've always said this, Donnie, you know this. I will never understand taking a top 5 pick with a defensive lineman. I'll never understand it. I mean, seriously, explain. They're never going. Michael Parsons, they had the worst defense in the league last year. Why are you wasting a top 5 pick on a defensive lineman? Explain. Can you explain that?
It would have made sense if you already had your
exactly. If you already have
they have their guy now. We'll see how it pans out. But I know exactly where Jeff's going. Like that's sort of like the cherry on the top. Like when you stink, you pick quarterback and like big beefy offensive lineman to protect that quarterback, and that's how you build. Tom, what do you think about this game? Giants Washington, roughly a 6-point number at this point, 45.5. And again, the vibes are the people love the Giants. Like they're going to make a run here.
Yeah. So if I was trying to rationalize why people like the Giants, it's because of what they did in preseason. They went 3-0 in preseason. They scored a ton of points in preseason. And, their defensive line is good, right? But outside of that, Neighbors is awesome. Their running back room is terrible. I don't want to trust Russell Wilson. And, the people saying the Commanders, I forget what their record was last year in one-score games, 7-2, 8-2, 6-2, whatever it was last year. Like, that coin is going to flip on the other side. So I understand in a divisional game, if there's any time to back the Giants, it's when you're getting nearly a touchdown. But when push comes to shove, I don't want to lean into be like, oh, yeah, Russell Wilson. What we've seen from him in Denver and Pittsburgh, that's the guy I want to back. No, I would take a Giants team total under.
You're also betting on a public dog, which generally go to die. Throw in the fact you're not even getting like 7.5 here. You're getting 6. You lose on a 21-14 game, a 28-21 game. There's no emphasis to me to back the Giants. Look, could it be a 4-point game because this is a divisional game? Maybe, but I don't trust Russell Wilson. I don't think that offense is any good. And at the end of the day, they don't score enough points, which is what you need to do to win football games. I think Washington gets a job.
Again, I've never seen a team get that. Again, the 3.5 opening team total where people are loving them here. We'll see. It's week 1. Crazy things happen, but all that love on the Giants, we'll see if it plays off. Get ready for this one again. Cincinnati and Cleveland. Man, line me up on Cincinnati. I can't get enough of Cincinnati. Neither can the public. Close to 7 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on Cincinnati. Joe Burrow versus Mr. Flacco still hanging around. Hey, Cincinnati, no way they're going to lose to New England last year, one of the worst teams in the NFL. Yeah, they lost opening day, but they played their starters, Jeff. I'll start with you. Bengals and the Browns today. What gives? 4.5-point number.
Well, look, you see all the things, right? Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor. Under Zach Taylor, 1-11 in week 1.
Brutal.
Week 1 and week 2. Just that's not. I mean, that's dreadful.
Yeah.
But then you look at the Browns and kind of like the Giants. You say, like, do I really want to back this team? I mean, seriously. I mean, Joe Flacco. The only guy I like is David Njoku, good tight end. Yeah. I think he scores a touchdown here probably. But you also look at the fact that the last 3 against the Browns, since he's won by 18, 7, and 17, throw in, you're not getting like 7, 8 here. You're getting 5, 5.5. I get what you're saying. I like the Browns initially. And then I kind of looked more and I said, well, what exactly am I getting here with the Browns?
Yeah.
Something's going to give, as you said with the game previously. I think this is a game where the Bengals get off the schneid and actually look pretty good in week 1.
Let's see what happens, too, because
Yeah.
Flacco's not going to be that quarterback, Tom Vecchio, for a long time this year. We can agree on it. There's no point in that because their team total's like 4.5 anyway. But game number 1, sometimes you can surprise. Not a lot of line movement here, but a total of 47.5. Are we getting points, and what do you expect today from this one?
Yeah, I would expect points in this one. And the reason I think people are willing to back the Bengals is they actually played in the preseason together for the first time in forever. And I know like Jeff, as you said, they're 1-11 in the first 2 weeks under Taylor. But it's like, to me, I almost want to buy into the Bengals. But listen, they had those seasons, they didn't have week 1 until week 3 or 4 because they didn't play in the preseason. Now they did play in the preseason and they were slinging the ball left and right. So maybe this is actually week 1 for them. And maybe they actually can get out and score points because when push comes to shove, the talent is all on the side of the Bengals when the receivers, the running back, and quarterback. And I just don't want to trust the Browns. I really just don't want to back them at 4.5. If I was getting 6.5 or 7, we would be having a different discussion, but we're not having it at 4.5.
Yeah, interesting one to start there in that AFC division where it's like, all right, we expect Cleveland to be on the bottom and Cincinnati to be on the top. We've seen some crazy things happen, but maybe we're right that you play those starters in the preseason is going to help you in week number 1. 10 minutes till kickoff right now, so we'll speed through some of these games. Las Vegas and New England. I'm telling you right now, look at this line. -2.5 across the board. Heavy public favorite is the Vegas Raiders heading into New England. Some banged up players on New England. Tom, I'll start with you first today. What are your expectations for the Raiders and the Patriots today?
Give me the Pats, season over season, just the volume and pure talent increase from the Pats is absolutely fantastic. I believe that players truly want to play for Mike Vrabel. I think there's some internal thing that he brings to them. So when you have this increase of talent from draft picks and free agency, and then you have this culture change, like use the cliche things like players want to try for him. And yes, it's not saying that Geno Smith and Brock Bowers and adding Gentry is not good for the Raiders, and they will be better than they were last year. I'll just take the Pats in a game that's going to feature rain and a team at home willing to make an impression with their new head coach.
Jeff, I like the Patriots as well. What are you thinking in this game between the Patriots and the Vegas Raiders?
Yeah, I'll make it a trifecta. I do too. Yeah. You look at all the infusion of talent. Not only you had Mike Vrabel, but you bring back McDaniel, you add Will Campbell, you add Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, Travion Henderson. You give Drake May some talent there. Yeah. And look, I've said before, I'm a big fan of Vrabel as both an underdog coach and a small favorite. Anything under 3 is a worthy play. Throw in the Raiders might have the worst secondary in the league. I mean, this defense stinks. I think New England's a play. Anything under 3, I don't want to go much higher, but yeah, I think
just win the game. Yep, just win the game. Arizona and New Orleans. Kyler Murray, a little bit under the weather this morning, did pop up. He's not actually on the injury report per se, but a little under the weather. Spencer Rattler for New Orleans. I think we could probably agree New Orleans, not high expectations, Tom, for this season. Not a lot to love about their offense, but they are getting close to 6 to 6.5, depending on where you're shopping at right now. And this just feels like everybody's loaded up on Arizona. If you are taking a suicide pick, this is your team right here. But I don't know. Game number 1, can we get a surprise down in the Dome?
I don't think we get a surprise. Again, the talent's on the side of the Cardinals. I've talked to you about Trey McBride before. Yeah. I like Trey McBride for a TD at +175 or +185 where he got it. He was a player that had a nearly 30% target share last year and 32% red zone share. And he didn't score until the last 2 weeks of the season. So just being that involved in the offense, variance was against him last year. I think it'll be on this side. Honestly, I have the Cardinals in a pick'em pool, but I'm not actually betting on them. So I am backing them, but it's not, outside of that.
Gotcha. Jeff, what do you think about this game here, huh? What do you got?
Cardinals just kind of a lukewarm favorite. Yeah. I think they're 4-5-1 over the last 10 at laying points. Something tells me Spencer Rattler's going to play okay. Look, I'm not running to back him.
Preseason.
Throw the fact. I mean, you draft Tyler Shuck only to allow Spencer Rattler to beat him out. Got it. Yeah, I guess the only reason you want to back New Orleans is because they're at home here, but there's not a lot to get excited about. This is another rough game. I'm not running to lay points with Arizona. I don't really want to back New Orleans. Skip over this one.
Let's double down. Let's double down with you, Jeff. 469, 470 in the rotations. Tampa Bay and it's Atlanta. 1.5-point favorite across the board for Tampa Bay. Atlanta is the home team here. Total 47.5. Michael Penix banged up already on the offensive line. Some changes to the defense. Is it me or am I wrong right here? Because obviously people are probably going to like Tampa Bay to some degree today. But do we overlook Tampa Bay? That team looks like it's pretty damn good, and Atlanta's showing up here as only a 1.5-point dog. What do you got?
Yeah, but the problem is, I mean, you lose Liam Cohen, right? I mean, he was kind of big for that offense. They're really banged up right now, a receiver and some other positions. Throw in the fact that, like, again, I think Tampa's a better team, but 4 straight games in this series decided by 6 or less. I think 3 were decided by 4 or less. I don't do this much, guys, but I'm going to recommend a little something here.
Let's go.
Two-team 6-point teaser. Give me the Falcons plus 7.5.
Over
Commanders just have to win.
There you go.
I'm in. I think I know you mentioned Penix. You mentioned, look, I think Atlanta, you have Bijan Robinson. You got some talent at receiver. Again, this game's always close, so I'll take it up over a touchdown. I'll get the Commanders just having to win. Beautiful.
Tommy, what do you got on this one, man? Little Mayfield, little Penix? Who you got?
Yeah, I would take the points if anything. And again, if the Bucs were plus 1.5, I would probably just take the Bucs at that point. But I think we're going to be seeing points. Points. Good offenses on both sides. The Bucs defense, I'm not really super high on, but I think I am high on their offense, especially Becca Ibuka. And, with Chris Godwin still out. And I think we're just going to see a shootout game. So, you give me 28, 24, 31, 24. So I think this is going to be the highest scoring game of week 1.
Tommy, we'll double down with you here. Just starting that 4:00 game, San Francisco and Seattle. I mean, Christian McCaffrey says he's going to play today. Calf injury midweek. I don't even think he makes it through that game.
What a surprise. He's injured again.
Exactly. Right off the bat. Like all those pictures, Jeff, that you saw, he's jacked up in the offseason. He feels fantastic. He even had a press conference yesterday or talked to the media, Jeff, and he's like, I feel great. I'm in a good headspace. Well, wait, you just hurt your calf yesterday. Tom, I'll start with you again in this one. Purdy, Darnold, minus 1.5 point favorite for San Francisco. I'll tell you right now, I like the 12s up there today. I do.
Okay, so I just don't believe – I like them – would back them today. I just don't like Seattle this season. I just don't like what they have. I'm not going to be trusting Sam Darnold too many times. If they're not going to be running with McCaffrey and or is going to be limited, like this is a breakout season for Ricky Pearsall. I really think we're going to see a massive role for him. I know they paid Juwan Jennings. I know Kittle's still there. But if they're going to be backing off of CMC and just a few touches here or there, they're going to turn the pass game, and it's Ricky Pearsall. I like him, and I'll just take the 49ers on the money line. I just don't trust Seattle, really.
What do you got, Jeff, on this Niners-Seattle game? Anything?
I won't waste much time here. I'm not big on Seattle's offense either. Yeah. I think their defense is tough. I like Woolen a lot. I like that secondary. San Francisco, who the hell knows what we're going to get defensively? They've just not been very good recently. A flip. I don't have much here.
I'll keep it with you too, Jeff, here. Texans versus the Rams, Stroud versus Stafford, 2 really good defenses, 2 really good pass rushes, a 43.5. Like, 2 guys with weapons here. The defenses are pretty good. A 3-point favorite. The thing that we've been talking about most of the all season is Matthew Stafford. Is he going to be ready and available for game 1? They're saying he's good to go, Jeff. What do you think about this game?
Well, he might be good to go, and he might be, in there, but he's not 100%. You're not going to have your left tackle, Jackson, either. I think he's probably their best offensive lineman. Not great. Throw in the fact that you've got a damn good defense on the other side. Texans might be a top 3-4 defense with Singletary and some of those other guys. I like that group. But it's put up or shut up for CJ Stroud. I mean, after a great first season, was very lukewarm last year. That said, I'm getting him as a dog. That's an easy trip out to LA. Nobody in that stadium.
Yep.
Give me Houston +3.
What do you got, Tom?
Yeah, definitely Houston. Love their defense. Their offensive line certainly has some issues, but that pass rush against a immobile, not healthy Stafford, like, again, if we were having this conversation and the Texans were at home, and that defense for the Rams getting 3 against that horrible offensive line for Houston, I would just take the 3 points. So give me the 3 with Houston. Stafford's probably not going to look great today.
Final game, we'll talk about Tennessee and Denver. Maybe it's a blowout. Highest line of the week, minus 8.5 points here for Denver, going up against Ward, a rookie on the road against Denver. Jeff, go ahead, brother.
I want to give Tennessee credit. You draft a quarterback and you play him right away. I love that. Good for Tennessee. That said, okay, I will tell Donnie, and I told Donnie this. I like Tennessee, right? And then I remembered back to last year about how many times Denver seemingly wins against teams like this, like 27-13, 24-10. Guys, Denver 10 straight covers as a favorite.
Look at that.
I like Bo Nix. I like that defense. Some tells me this is 24-10. I like Cam Ward. I think he'll get there, but going out to Denver, altitude, first game, I'm liking Denver more and more as I look at this.
1 minute.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly. Like, this is a rough spot for Cam Ward, and I do believe in him long term, and probably for this season overall, but not today. And I will say a lot of people are looking for like a 2-team parlay. Broncos make some sense to add them with the Cards or the Bengals or some combination of those teams. I don't mind that.
Rookie quarterback on the road in a tough environment against really good defense. Usually don't make too much money with that, but that'll do it for the card today. 30 minutes till kickoff. We got it done in 30 minutes. Awesome stuff. Tom Vecchio, Jeff Nadu, fantastic stuff. Me and Jeff have done hundreds, if not thousands of shows together. Hopefully Jeff will be back with us a lot during this football season, and it's a way we get down. Good luck on your picks today, guys. And once again, thanks for tuning in.